This is VOA News. I'm Scott Walterman. U.S. President Joe Biden has asked the U.S. Congress for $13 billion in emergency defense aid to Ukraine and an additional $8 billion for humanitarian support through the end of the year. It's another massive infusion of cash as the Russian invasion wears on and Ukraine pushes a counteroffensive. The package also includes $12 billion to replenish U.S. federal disaster funds at home. Some of that money will undoubtedly wind up in Hawaii, where wildfires have devastated the island of Maui. At least 36 people are dead, and whole neighborhoods and historic commercial buildings have been destroyed. Today, President Biden declared a major disaster on Maui.
I've ordered all available federal assets on the island, including the U.S. Coast Guard, the Navy Third Fleet, and the U.S. Army, to assist local emergency response crews along with the Hawaiian National Guard. We're working as quickly as possible to fight these fires and evacuate residents and tourists.
Iran confirmed Thursday that it has transferred 4 American prisoners to house arrest in exchange for some of their frozen money. More from VOA's Jeff Custer.
Iran's state news agency, IRNA, reports under the deal mediated by a third country, 5 Iranians jailed in the United States will be released, and Iran's frozen funds in South Korea will be unblocked and transferred to Qatar. Iran said the deal with the U.S. involved between $6 and $7 billion that have been frozen as a result of sanctions. In a statement Thursday, human rights lawyer Jared Genser said the 4 prisoners are being moved from Tehran's notorious Evin prison to house arrest at an undisclosed hotel, where they will be held under guard by officials. Genser added that a 5th American, an unnamed woman whose detention was just recently made public, is already under house arrest. Jeff Custer, VOA News, Washington.
This is VOA News. The West African bloc ECOWAS on Thursday ordered the activation of a standby force for possible use against the junta that took power in Niger in July. Michael Shurkin, senior fellow at the Atlantic Council, is an expert on the region. He told the VOA's Carol Van Dam he doesn't believe they will use that force quickly.
It's all preparatory. In other words, these are steps that you need to take in order to do something later that will enable you to do something later. But I would be shocked if this is the kind of thing that would result in a quick move in it really in the next day.
In activating the force, ECOWAS said it wanted a peaceful restoration of democracy, but all options of force were still on the table. The U.S. Treasury Department and the Internal Revenue Service on Thursday issued final rules for a new program that will boost tax credits for qualified solar and wind facilities in low-income communities by up to 20 percentage points. It's all part of President Joe Biden's Inflation Reduction Act. The program aims to increase clean energy facilities and lower costs in poor U.S. communities and tribal areas. Despite pushback from the U.S. city of San Francisco and its residents, a California state agency is set to vote on Thursday to allow self-driving taxis to operate in the city at all hours.
Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened. For any questions, press the help button to speak with a rider support agent.
The approval would grant General Motors Cruise and Google's Waymo the right to expand testing of their autonomous vehicles as paid taxis across the city. Virgin Atlantic has rocketed to the edge of space with its first tourists. One passenger bought his ticket 18 years ago. The tourist flight guided back to a runway landing Thursday in New Mexico in the desert after the passengers experienced a few minutes of weightlessness. Aboard the plane-launched spacecraft was a former British Olympian with Parkinson's disease and a mother and daughter from the Caribbean who are contest winners. Richard Branson's Virgin Galactic has now taken 7 trips to space since 2018, but this was the first with a ticket holder. By the way, ticket prices started out at $200,000 a ticket. Today, that same ticket will cost you $450,000. More news on these and other stories on our website, voanews.com, and you can download our apps from Google and Apple. From Washington, D.C., I'm Scott Walterman.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comments section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.